Mass Effect Andromeda. Terrible facial animations. Story is infantile. Characters look like mannequins. Eyes defiant in the scope. Want refund.
Hi everybody, this is El Viejo Toro of The Fancy Action Now in the beautiful Zen Studios, and I'm here to do kind of a breaking news video about Bioware and EA. And EA has made some decisions recently, per an article from Kotaku, in regards to Bioware and relegating the Montreal studio into a support role and distributing those individuals to other projects, or many of them to other projects. So it's basically a downsized, dismantle, restructure that I predicted in previous videos, particularly in my Boycott Bioware video, where I said that there would be an inevitable restructuring. This is one of those things that when you blunder in the market this badly, that there is no going on in your current state. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Can't do it. And also, it helps EA to disassociate themselves from that group and all the political nonsense. That's kind of whistling in the dark a little bit from EA in terms of the fiasco that they have become associated with. They want to look like a leader. When you say we are a leader in the industry, that's saying we're a good investment. It's almost the exact same statement. So they are taking action on BioWare's Montreal studio. They have restructured it, as I said that they would, and diminished their role, and will probably leave them in obscurity and eventually dissolve it. But they don't want to do that immediately. They've done everything they can politically within the norm. You know, as one analyst of this whole situation said, well, you know, normally you will do that after a project ends. Yeah, and they're going to kind of hide behind that because if Andromeda was a success, that team would have gotten more budget and more staff, and they would not have been touched because they presided over a success, okay, and something that was good for that corporate image of EA, not something that undermined it and associated their brand with. I keep using that term just political, but there are worse words that can be associated for what was going on at that Montreal studio. Here are some predictions, and EA actually acted quicker than I did on my prediction video. I predicted a move like and again, I've already predicted a move like that was going to happen, or at least foreshadowed it, and I was going to predict something very similar, almost exactly, was going to happen in this situation that happened to the Montreal studio of Bioware. I have some advice and some predictions. So let's go into the advice scenario. Okay. My advice for EA and Bioware. It's kind of an advice and a prediction. Late 2017, early 2018, if you can have it ready for the holiday season, a re-release, a remastered version of the trilogy, the Mass Effect trilogy, for the holiday season, with additional DLC for the original trilogy. And the original DLC would involve events, as I've alluded to, either 10, 20, 30 years in the future from the events of Mass Effect 3. That is a wonderful way to re-engage the series, remaster it, include all the DLC, all the skins, all the weapon packs included in the remaster. $29.99. $29.99. Now, I know you'll take my advice and look at it and say, well, we can't do $29.99. That's what he told us to do. He doesn't tell us. We're EA. Fine. $39.99. Or $37.88. Or whatever number makes you feel good. But nothing over $40. Trilogy remastered. All DLC, all downloadable packs, all additional characters, all weapon packs included, everything. As a thank you and so sorry to the fan base. Remastered 1 disc, PS4, Xbox One, PC. Okay? 10 years after the events of the Mass Effect trilogy. What happened with Leviathan? Leviathan that had been reawakened and that the Reapers modeled themselves after to achieve such efficacy that they could harvest the entire galaxy on a regular basis. Leviathan is reawakened to take part in the battle, which we don't really see a lot of in terms of what their role was or how their actions directly affected the outcome. But now we've reawakened this race that has been in hiding. What are they going to do? The indoctrination model of the Reapers was adopted from their template. Their biological template of indoctrination. What happens with Leviathan after they have reemerged and the Reaper threat is removed? Will they see this as their opportunity to be the apex predator of the galaxy yet again? Also, you visit, and if that isn't addressed, address this. The leitmotif of the entire series was synthetics supplanting, superseding organics. In the re-release, in the additional DLC for those original properties, it can really be a very large expansion comparable to another game without actually being one. Make it an incremental. Make it an incremental. Do the remaster of all 3 in the trilogy. I know it's been done before on like PS3, where you can get all 3 games in one. I understand that. Re-released for the up-to-date systems. Remaster. Do a good remaster. Do a thorough remaster. Because then somebody can go and play all 3 games and make all the choices and go back. I mean, it's more of a multifaceted experience. And you're giving them all the DLC. All the people that did not want to spend all the extra on the DLC, you're giving them the DLC. You have it all. It's already done. It has to be remastered. There's some expense involved in that. Don't short shrift the remaster. Invest in the remaster. Release the remaster prior to middle of Q4, and with an optional expansion. What I want to see in the Mass Effect universe is once the Reaper threat is eliminated or mitigated or destroyed or pushed back or whatever it is. Again, maybe some Reapers go rogue. Maybe there's an isolated contingent that were, based somewhere where they were protected from the radiation and they were not destroyed. Again, that's part of it. Okay, now we found this group of Reapers that serendipitously survived the decision in Mass Effect 3, and they have to be dealt with. Or they seek an alliance against the organic Leviathan. But regardless, the synthetic organics. Now the organics understand, particularly the Quarians, now understand the danger that synthetic or artificial intelligence presents. Again, that could be the job of the next protagonist, where it's their job to set up or to find alternatives so that that inevitability does not take place. That is the foundational concept, because all you're doing with Andromeda is running from it and going to a new galaxy to do the exact same thing. Again, the Reapers told us it will happen again. We've got it down to a formula. You're going to reach this level of accomplishment, then you're going to develop synthetics, then they are going to supplant you, and they have the potential to destroy all organic life. Get working on the remaster now. Get it finished with a high degree of quality. Get it remastered, get it updated, put it in the new engine, whatever you need to do to make that thing sing.
Abide with me, fast for eventide.
And then have optional, and again, this is how you offset your investment, and this is how you include additional investment. Because what I'm trying to tell to EA, Bioware, whatever, okay? What I'm trying to tell EA is that Mass Effect fans are happy to spend the money on a legitimate product that furthers the franchise in a realistic way, not 600 years in the future going to another galaxy and taking them our problems, okay? Deal with the problems in your own house first. All of these concepts, which were brilliant in the first series, are just ignored, thrown in the trash, and we're taking the 20-somethings to Andromeda. Okay? Again, who's your customer? Look, take a look at me right now. Who is your customer right now? Back in ME1, it might have been the 20-somethings, but it isn't anymore. And again, gaming in general. Hello, remaster. You can go and revisit the Quarian homeworld. You can go and see, the rebuilding of Earth. You can go visit Tuchanka and see what's going on with them. And what you do, again, you simultaneously, it's a master stroke. Because you simultaneously thank the fans, and then you pilot test, because you're doing it as DLC, you're charging for the DLC. If you gave me a remaster, and let's look at what I would think would be the highest threshold and price point. If you do a Mass Effect trilogy with all the DLC, all of it, for $40, all right? I think it should be $29.99, but let's say you do $39.99. I'd pay another $30 to see what happened to all of those strings from the last series. So you got a $70 price point. You got a total $70 per unit price point. And I think your conversion rate on the DLC would be in the 80s. I honestly think your conversion rate on the additional DLC for $30, $40 remaster, $30 DLC, and then if you get a conversion rate of 50% or more, your next game is the sequel to that DLC. A full-fledged, full-priced game off of that DLC. You've laid the foundation. You've restarted the series. This is El Viejo Toro for Fancy Action Now. And before I leave you, fooled you. Before I leave you, I'm going to read you a comment. ME4's development budget is similar to The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is done by a small, elite, passionate group. High talent, high passion can function at an amazing level on a small budget. What a corporation has to do is buy that, okay? You just don't automatically get it. You try to get it, you pull it in to a new culture, and it's a different environment. As you can see, what EA has done over and over and over again with Pandemic, LucasArts, Bioware, is they bring this small, passionate group in, give them a bunch of money, and then they worm the culture into their culture, which degrades it. And they know this. They know this. They exploit it like a resource. It's like they drill for oil. They get all the oil they can out of it. Then they get the dregs out of it. That would be Andromeda, by the way, the dregs. And then, as the talent starts to fall off the tree, they pick up and grab another studio and drill that one. That's what they do. Okay? And they've proven it over and over and over. Pandemic. When was the last Pandemic game you saw? Anyway, so do not confuse development budget that doesn't include marketing to overall budget that does include marketing. Marketing generally is anywhere between equal to or double the dev budget. I actually think the only real faults of EA in the caca fest that is ME4 are the low polish and focus on combat and multiplayer. The identity politics, dialogue, tone, story, that's all on his or her words, cuckware. Gee, that word alone, genius, right? All right, so I get it. Now he or she has another comment. Also consider this if the game budget, again, this includes marketing, and again, I have a marketing background, so I get some of this, was only 40 million, then the game would have at least broken even. The PS4 sold around 0.8 million copies. That's 48 million. Add PC and Xbox to that, and you're looking at least 1 million copies, which would be 60 million. I believe the publishers take anywhere between 60 and 70% of every game sale. So yeah, they should at least make their money back. And you're also talking about lost goodwill, which you can't put a price on. Ugh. But anyway, however, that doesn't appear to be the case. The game has gone on sale twice now. Believe me, I noticed that. That's a very strong indicator. We'll get to it. Within 2 months of launching, the studio of the development has been downgraded. Bioware's new IP delayed till 2019, and EA put the entire Mass Effect franchise on hiatus. That is not the reaction a large corporation displays when they sold over 1 million copies of a game that cost 40 million total to make. So he's holding me accountable for my financial analysis, which is good in the sense that it's not really based, my financial analysis is based on generalities because I really haven't looked at the numbers. Fair. On the other hand, if the game cost 80 million, which is probably closer to the truth when you talk about total cost, and you only made 40 million, that's a net loss of 40 million, and that would certainly, or a loss of 40 million, and that would certainly require immediate evasive maneuvers and emergency rations. LOL. So a really thoughtful comment from Lahu. Here's my response. I agree that the budget does not directly translate to quality. A small group on a shoestring can do amazing things. CD Projekt Red. Corporations have to buy passion and talent. They buy it. And they don't necessarily foster it past a certain contractual limit. Some of them know that they're going to dismantle these teams. EA is one of them. They know that. They have a formula. I don't know if you've noticed it, but they have a formula. EA's mission as a corporation is to drive profits for its shareholders. This is painfully apparent by the mishandling of ME4. I don't really need to know, as you have so correctly put, the actions of EA telegraph, at the very least, embarrassment and significantly lower than projected sales. Man, that's not the phrase that you want to hear in the halls of a corporation, especially at the higher levels when you're making 100, 200, 300K. and they're looking at you like, what just happened? Consider how many meetings are taking place to explain the failed revenue expectations from this key franchise. This will take some dressing up on the annual report. There will definitely be some realignment in certain leadership roles of EA. Failures of this magnitude always warrant serious action. Something will be done. Whether it's right, wrong, well-timed, they'll work on the timing, but, yeah. The early reduction in price was practically a confession note that this property was not ready for retail release, because they were actually trying to avoid a suit, because they could have been sued because they put out a product that was incomplete, and you could certainly prove it and just compare it to other properties in the market. Witcher 3. You could sue them and win easily because they are in default. They are selling a product under false pretenses. So that's why they dropped the price. They dropped the price as quickly as they possibly politically could, because they're like, whoa, we can't charge full price for this game. Believe me, they would not be doing a price reduction now or 6 months from now if they didn't have to. I mean, maybe in a year they might put a sale on Steam or something like that. But for them to drop the price within the first 30 days of the release of a brand new property, they know it's not ready. They're avoiding liability, which is good. That's a good damage control move. It is so bad it has me considering intentional sabotage on the part of Bioware, or inexcusable incompetence, or both. So, take my advice and my prediction. The game is on hiatus until further notice. I've given you a way to extract yourself and recapture the fans. And again, 2017, fourth quarter, do it. Because you've pretty much seen the end of that studio. They're going to take the talent, they're going to disperse it. They'll keep the Bioware brand hanging around for a while. But ultimately, everything that Bioware does has been placed on hold or pushed out as they do damage control on this property. The shareholders demand it, the board of directors will demand it, the senior management will demand it, because they have been embarrassed and their end of the year is now in question. Believe it, when there were projections made of that game, this game is not going to hit those projections by far. And the ongoing revenue streams that were counted on, additional DLC, etc., have now been cut. And they cannot be put on their end of year or their annual report. They're looking sallow right now, and they need to act decisively. I've given them a path. If they choose to exploit it, good for you. But they are going to be feeling this for the next couple of years. Act decisively, act quickly, act with quality. It's not even about Bioware anymore. It's about EA and them recapturing them around. With that being said, this is El Viejo Toro for the fancy action now for the people. Remaster, okay? Remaster, do it. Hello. Remaster, do it. Remaster, okay? Remaster. One last thing, everybody. I did notice that on some of my videos that are monetized, that are critical of Bioware and EA, I've been seeing ads for Elite Dangerous, which I think is a very subtle and effective move on the part of that developer. Basically, when I saw that, I ran one of my own videos and I saw that ad come up, and I've seen it on other critical of Andromeda videos, and I thought, wow, what an effective time to run an ad campaign for your space adventure. You're not happy with this space adventure? By the way, we're over here. And it was done very classy. You know, it's not a comparison or a side-by-side or any of that. It's just kind of, hey, have you checked out Elite Dangerous? We're also a space adventure. So kudos to the developer for Elite Dangerous, because it's taking it. I wouldn't call it opportunist, because I tend to associate negativity with opportunism. But I would say it is a elegant marketing move to just put your product out there and just say, hey, come check us out. Peace.